UIM Nations Cup is back, and it kicks off in stunning Doha, Qatar. Doha is the gateway to the Middle East, a gleaming skyscraper-strewn metropolis of shiny new contours and gleaming glass rising from the sands of the Arabian Desert in the heart of the Gulf. This is a modern, cosmopolitan, multicultural metropolis, a melting pot of nations that has emerged as a true economic and cultural beacon in the region, bolstered by immense natural resources and a finely honed vision of the future. Qatar is also proud of its rich cultural past and traditions, boasting a rich history that it jealously guards today. The historic Arab dhows and Doha's traditional souk market offer a glimpse of Qatar's rich legacy and centuries-old position as an important trading port in this part of the world. Today, Doha has evolved its rich maritime history by having become one of the world's top marine motorsport destinations. The 2015 UIM Nations Cup was part of a powerboat celebration that also featured the UIM ABP Aquabike World Championship and the UIM F1 H2O World Championships in a 2-week-long festival of machines on water. Having first begun in 2011, this is the 5th year for the UIM Nations Cup, an H2O racing creation that has proven a big hit by introducing nation-based racing in stock racing boats, which they pick by luck of the draw. The UIM Nations Cup, as always, features time trials, a match race, and 2 sprint races, as drivers try to reap as many points for their team as they can, and they share 2 props between them. One boat gets the big prop, the other gets the small one.
Nations Cup is a championship open to any nation. Every team consists in 2 drivers from the same nation that race together to achieve the win. It's not a singular race with a singular driver. It does not count what only one does, but is a team race. Not just a matter of the single race, but all the weekend, and be the most consistent and fast of everyone.
In the Nations Cup, it's consistency and teamwork that counts. There are 7 nations competing in the 2015 Grand Prix of Qatar. Last year's Nations Cup champions Team Belarus are back. Their drivers Dmitry Malkin and Roman Vandyshev. Once again, Team Belarus will be one of the favorites. In boats 3 and 4 are local heroes Team Qatar, looking for their first home win. Khalid Al-Kuwari has been competing in Nations Cup since the first event, and also back in the team is the talented Mohammed Al-Obaidli. Known for their consistency and teamwork is Team Saudi Arabia, once again featuring Saud Abdulaziz Ahmed in Boat 5 and Naeem Mohammed Al-Kadawi in Boat 6.
It's great to be part of this beautiful race, especially in NC class, so we love it.
Competing for the first time in the Nations Cup is Team Germany, featuring 2 newcomers to the championship, F4 champion Mike Simura and Bernd Enzenhofer.
Nations Cup event is beautiful. It's the race weekend here in Doha is very nice, and the boats is very fast on the water.
That brings us to one of the traditional heavyweight Nations Cup favorites, Team Russia. They've got the seasoned Andrei Panyushkin and Konstantin Ustinov. Boats 11 and 12 belong to Team Italy, the Nations Cup runner-up last year. They have 2 new drivers, Roberto Lopiano and Domenico Leidi. And last but not least, 2-time Nations Cup champions Team UAE, featuring the brilliant Rashid Al-Khamzi, who memorably won both sprint races in Abu Dhabi in 2013, winning the trophy for the UAE. Al-Khamzi is joined by Rashid Al-Ramaiti. The standard dunk test was a chance for teams, drivers, and rescue crews to test and prepare for possible dangerous situations on the water. The time trials determined the starting lineup for Sprint Race 1, and they also determined the top 8 pairings for the match race, with first pairing 8. There's the entry list: 7 teams, 14 drivers, battling it out for the Nations Cup. Qualifying was delayed 2 hours due to strong winds and rough seas.
We take the decision to delay this time trial session because the water conditions, the general weather conditions are not safe enough to send the boats to the water.
Later that day, there were still gusty conditions and large waves, but the qualifying session went ahead on the 1,580-meter 4-pin circuit in Doha Bay, albeit reduced to just 30 minutes. "13 drivers went out for qualifying, trying to nail the right setup. Rashid Al-Khamzi unable to compete with technical problems.
The engine is not giving the more power.
The Saudi drivers were more than 8 seconds off the pace on the day. Team Italy's Domenico Ledi managed 8th place with a fastest lap time of 57.07 seconds, but his teammate Roberto Lopiano managed 4th spot. Bernd Enzenhofer of Team Germany beat Domenico Ledi's time to claim 7th spot with a best time of 56.25 from 11 laps. Enzenhofer's teammate Mike Simura's boat had trouble staying together in the rough conditions, but he still managed the 3rd fastest time of the day with a 52.28 fastest lap. Belarus driver Roman Vandyshev was nearly flawless out there, laying a fastest lap time of 51.52 to beat Simura and claim 2nd place on the starting grid for Sprint Race 1. But the big result of the day was the fastest driver in practice 2, Andrei Panyushkin of Russia. The Russian driver produced a stunning display, negotiating the rough conditions well to lay down a blistering fastest lap time of 50.94. Panyushkin has pole position for Sprint Race 1. He'll be the man to beat. Conditions were quite bad. There was a lot of waves and wind, so it's really nice to get the pole position and feel like you're in first. There are the final results. Panyushkin with pole ahead of Vandyshev and Shimura. Roberto Lopiano with a good result in 4th. Rashid Al-Khamzi will have to start back in the field.
The match race, is very exciting to me, and it's my favorite race.
In the match race, 2 boats line up against each other for the best of 3 runs on a 2-pin alternate course with 1 short lap and 1 long lap. Konstantin Ustinov of Russia went up against Rashid Al-Ramaiti, which Ustinov won in convincing style 2-0. His teammate Andrei Panyushkin faced Qatar's sole representative Mohammed Al-Obaidli in the first round, with the Russian coming up trumps against the young Qatari. Meanwhile, Roman Vandyshev of Belarus also made the quarterfinals, where he faced Ustinov. It was tight between the two, but Ustinov was the winner, moving into the semis against Saud Ahmed of Saudi Arabia. Andrei Panyushkin went up against Mike Simura of Germany in the semis, beating the German to move into the final. In the other semi-final, Konstantin Ustinov had a tough fight against Saud Ahmed, beating him to set up an all-Russian final. In the fight for third place, Shimura beat Saud Ahmed. In the final, Panyushkin seemed the favorite with his pole position in qualifying. But 2 jump starts and disqualification gifted the match race win to his teammate Ustinov. That result gave Russia the perfect start to their Nations Cup campaign with maximum points, putting them on top of the table with 47 points. Simura's 3rd place and Enzenhofer's 10th place earned Germany 31 points, while Belarus amassed 29 points with Vandyshev and Malkin. We took Team Germany's Mike Simura to the historic Doha Souk, where he enjoyed the local delicacies and soaked in the ambience.
Das Besondere an Katar ist einfach.
I really feel good to be here. I like the city and the impressive buildings. It's just beautiful. The food is really good too. The hotel is nice. All in all, it's simply a great venue to race.
Eine schöne Gegend, Rennen zu fahren. Der Reiz ist natürlich, zu siegen.
The special thing about Qatar for us is to win. But you have to watch out for opponents. You have to be careful. Al-Kamzi, for example. They're all strong racers. Ideally, we'd like to get a great result here, and if possible, win for Team Germany.
Hier gut abzuschneiden und vielleicht auch zu gewinnen.
Russia would be the team to beat as they headed into the day's 2 sprint races with a 16-point cushion over Team Germany and an 18-point lead over Team Belarus. With his teammate Rashid Al-Ramaiti not competing, Rashid Al-Kamzi would be driving in the number 14 boat. The Nations Cup circuit in Qatar is a 1,580-meter, 4-pin rectangular course.
Well, the course is good, you know. We take a couple of laps, we do a good time trials. I finished 5th. For the race, you know, the same situation. We want to make a good start and jump everybody in the start, like do a really good start.
Место на старте, оно всегда дает преимущество.
I have pole position, and that always gives you an advantage for the race. That being said, the race is the race, so we'll see what happens.
Что будет, покажет финиш.
Teams do 1 parade lap for the spectators before the race begins. The final moments as the teams await the start lights for Sprint Race 1. The race begins. Andrei Panyushkin in the number 9 boat has pole as he leads the field to the commitment buoy. Beside Panyushkin is Team Belarus's Roman Vandyshev in boat 2, followed by Team Germany's Mike Simura in boat 7. The boats get around the commitment buoy without incident as they head down to that tricky buoy number 4. Panyushkin takes a very wide angle from the outside. He wants to make this first turn as smooth as he can. Here we see Mike Shimura's on board as the German driver comes in on the inside, trying to claw his way up to the Belarus boat. There's that long and relatively flat open straight to race boy number 1. Panyushkin and Vandyshev are flawless so far, driving smooth and in command. Further back we see Mohamed Alobaidli from 5th start position, trying to find some gaps to move up the field through the spray. Alobaidli is going neck and neck with Domenico Lady, the young Italian getting the better of Alobaidli as Team Qatar looks on. Back to the lead boat, Panyushkin opening a 1-second gap with Vandyshev. In the battle between Team Qatar and Team Italy, Mohamed Alobaidli has reclaimed his position from Lady as they come around buoy 3. No change in the top 3, Panyushkin, Vandyshev and Shimura dominate. The second Russian boat, number 10 with Konstantin Ustinov in 4th position behind the leading boats. Behind him, Alobaidli of Qatar, Lady of Italy, Enzenhofer of Germany. And then the number 1 Belarus boat with Dmitry Malkin, followed by Roberto Lopiano of Italy. Team UAE's Rashid Al Ramaiti coming through to turn buoy 3. He's hit a buoy, that's going to be a yellow flag. The boats motor around on the yellow, holding their race positions. Green flag. Lopiano is fast off the mark on the restart as he gets the jump on Shimura of Germany, but the German gets back in on the inside. Meanwhile, Panyushkin and Vandyshev are still in command of things as the boats go around. Conditions become choppier, wavier, harder to negotiate. Battle at the back between Saudi Arabian driver Saud Ahmed and Belarus driver Dmitry Malkin in boat 1. Big battle at the top of the course between Domenico Lady of Italy and Dmitry Malkin of Belarus. A lap later, it's Dmitry Malkin who's putting the pressure on Domenico Lady. With the laps counting down, Panyushkin is going from strength to strength as he opens a comfortable lead over Vandyshev in 2nd position, who also extends his lead over Shimura in 3rd. But the big news is the surge up the field of Rashid Al-Khemzi, the talented UAE driver in boat 14. He moved up from 12th to 4th as Team Abu Dhabi, as Team UAE looked on. Al-Khemzi, who's a 2-time sprint race winner from 2013, is now putting the pressure on Mike Shimura for 3rd spot. The two going neck and neck down that straight to turn buoy 1, and Al-Khemzi passes the German. Panyushkin's lead shrinks a few laps in as Vandyshev is just a couple boat lengths away from the Russian, with Al-Khemzi now in 3rd position. What a race for Al-Khemzi! Roberto Lopiano crashes out of the race. He couldn't keep the nose down in Qatar's famously unpredictable wind conditions. The nose goes up, and it's a flip. Yellow flag. Fortunately, no harm done to Roberto Lopiano. He emerges unscathed, but not so happy. Amazing, stupendous. I took a wonderful 4-second flight. The race would end on a yellow flag. A shame for Al-Khemzi, who had passed Vandyshev to move into 2nd on the same lap as Lopiano's crash, which meant the boats would revert to the pre-crash lineup. So Vandyshev holds on to 2nd as the Italian boat is towed away. I started the race off very well, but then I started to get tired and barely just handled it to the end of the race. I'm glad to win. There are the Sprint Race 1 results. Andrei Panyushkin holds on for the win ahead of Roman Vandyshev, with Rashid Al-Khemzi coming in 3rd for the UAE and Mike Shimura 4th. Sprint Race 2 would determine the Nations Cup results at the Qatar Grand Prix.
The last race I finished the 3rd, and this race I'll start on the pontoon the 3rd, and I'll push hard to get the 1st, and I hope I get it.
Final preparations are complete. The teams are ready for the one last race. The lights go out and the race is on. Good start from Andrei Panyushkin, but Vandyshev is also right up there beside the Russian. Alkemzi gets left behind a little between Vandyshev and Shimura. It's a tight pack to the commitment boy. Panyushkin is first to the turn, then Vandyshev and Alkemzi. The boats jostle for positions in the first lap, trying to get the edge on one another. Panyushkin leads again, but Alkemzi is going to be menacing the Russian and Belarusian boats, it seems. There's the onboard for Alkemzi, and just look at the visibility. Sun in his eyes, spray on his windscreen, not easy to negotiate. Panyushkin nevertheless opens his lead, and Vandyshev tries to keep up. Dmitry Malkin trying to make his way up in that straight to turn boy number 1. No changes up front. Panyushkin looks comfortable as he leads the field around the first lap. Meanwhile, Alkemzi in third, still giving dogged pursuit of Vandyshev. But the Belarus driver is fending the Emirati off well. The boats come around that tricky corner to turn boy 4. Drivers always with an eye, a few meters ahead, trying to gauge the water conditions, which is crucial to avoid other boats' rooster tails and unexpected rollers. The number 10 Russian boat of Konstantin Ustinov in fourth keeps clear of the German boats behind him, followed by Dmitry Malkin. Further back, the race 1 tussle between Alobaidli and Domenico Lady of Italy is relived in race 2. Alkemzi in his unceasing pursuit of Vandyshev, but Alkemzi pushes too hard and he takes out a boy. That will be another yellow flag, the third of the day. Alkemzi will go on, but with that damage, he's going to lose a lot of aerodynamic flow. Green flag restart, boats all bunched up trying to get the jump on each other. And Panyushkin is napping. He doesn't seem to be aware the green flag is up. He gets a rude awakening. But Vandyshev has already passed him, and so does Alkemzi. Panyushkin unfortunate as he drops back to third at the restart. The new race leader is Roman Vandyshev, and right beside him is Rashid Alkemzi, despite his damaged boat, with Andrei Panyushkin in third position trying to reclaim his lost lead. There's a fierce battle up front now between Vandyshev and Alkemzi. Alkemzi looking to find a way around the Belarusian, with Panyushkin dropping back. Further back, Dmitry Malkin holds off German driver Bernd Enzenhofer on his inside. But all eyes are on the number 2 boat, Vandyshev, and number 14 boat, Rashid Alkemzi, as Alkemzi looks for a way around Vandyshev's spray, trying to find some chink in the Belarus driver's armor. In third, way behind them now, is Panyushkin. The rest of the field is densely packed after that yellow flag, trying to get the jump on each other. Alkemzi pushing hard on Vandyshev, and he nearly loses it on turn boy 4. Rashid Alkemzi is going all out, not holding back one bit. Domenico Lady is up against Saud Ahmed, the Saudi Arabian keeping the young Italian off his tail for now, but Lady is pushing as hard as he can. After that near crash out on turn boy 4, Alkemzi relinquished some ground to Vandyshev, the Belarusian opening a few seconds gap with Alkemzi, while Panyushkin moved up to close the gap behind him and the Emirati. Meanwhile, there's a 3-way tussle behind between Ustinov, the Russian number 10, Naim Al-Qadawi of Saudi Arabia, and Mike Simura of Germany. Big battle at the back between Mohammed Al-Obaidli of Qatar and number 8 German driver Bernd Enzenhofer. Meanwhile, Vandyshev keeps his cool and keeps his lead ahead of Alkemzi as he closes the race out. There it is, a win in sprint race 2 for Belarus, but it's Russia that takes the overall Nations Cup Qatar Grand Prix win. a 5th place finish for Dimitri Malkin, and behind him, Bernd Ensenhofer. Rashid Al-Khamzi finishes the race runner-up, but a 1-lap penalty for taking out that boy drops him back to 10th, moving Panyushkin up to 2nd.
Ну, если бы, везение, я думаю, что везение, потому что...
It's mostly down to luck that I won, because my partners are more experienced than me, but they unfortunately had some problems. So I was lucky, but I'm happy about it.
К сожалению, я ими воспользовался. И вот выехал.
There are the overall Qatar Grand Prix results. Team Russia win their first ever Nations Cup with 130 points. Belarus end up on 109 points, making do with runner-up ahead of Germany on 94 points, followed by Saudi Arabia, Italy, UAE, and Qatar. Nothing really went to plan. We just had to improvise as the competition progressed. It was really just good teamwork and flexibility that helped us achieve this win, but we're happy about that. That concludes the 2015 UIM Nations Cup Grand Prix of Qatar. See you next time.